Well, good day folks, Stuart here from Universal Rocks, and we're with our good friend David Spicer here. And David's been buying Universal Rocks for about 6 years since we moved over from Australia to the States. And this is the first time I've actually come to his home, and now I know he's mad. I mean, he's filled his home up. It looks like a zoo. It's absolutely incredible. All of these, and this is only a few of what he's got, is just filled with venomous snakes and lizards and all sorts of things. So Dave, please tell us what you got happening here, because this is very, very exciting and looks beautiful.
Well, I actually designed this system in my wall to try and just centralize everything in one location. And all the tanks are designed specifically for those animals. Almost everything you see in these tanks is fake. Probably 50 or 60% of it at least came from Stuart, from Universal Rocks, including the backgrounds, the stumps, the trees, lots of the things inside this tank.
I've got to say, you've used a lot of photos in there, which is not something I would normally do. You've got our backgrounds in, and you got, but it looks fantastic. What's your thoughts with that? Why have you done that?
Well, I mean, I don't think that snakes or reptiles really like looking at white walls.
Right.
I personally don't like looking at white walls. In fact, I go a bit crazy when I do. Yeah. So I'm just trying to create as natural an environment for the snakes as possible.
And you've done a good job. Some of them are like tropical themes, and some of them are desert themes. So it's a good look. So there you go. It's not just about Universal Rocks. It's about beautiful pictures and plants and other rocks and things to give this amazing. It's like a zoo here. Mind you, in his house, it's beautiful. There's 60-something enclosures, and it doesn't smell like a zoo at all. It smells just like a beautiful house. So whatever he's doing, his animals are breeding well. They look healthy. And it's very, very clean and precise. So I suppose that's part of the thing, isn't it? They're happy in this environment.
They are very happy in this environment. And one of the things that helps me with the cleanliness is all the fake stuff I can remove from the tanks and just wash.
Okay.
I can put it in the dishwasher and wash it.
Okay.
I can bleach it and clean it. It's not porous. It's not like a tree branch that would absorb any kind of cleaning material. Yep. That's always a concern with herpetologists, is how you're going to keep everything clean. A clean, happy snake is a healthy snake. Yep. So, I mean, that gives me that ability too. Most of the hides that I use in my tanks are actually hollow, fake rocks. Yep. That I can actually remove from the tank at any time. Mm-hmm. The other great thing is, if I was to use real rock in these enclosures, this display would weigh 2,000 pounds. Yep. Yep. You know? I can actually, in a matter of about 30 minutes, completely remove everything from each one of these enclosures, including the background, and clean it and replace it.
Okay, so you're having silicone the backgrounds in?
No, they're actually held in place with 2 screws.
Okay.
Two screws hold each one in place.
Wow, that makes it nice and easy. But you are a builder, so you've cut them precisely right. So I imagine that's a key thing, making sure they're tight.
Absolutely. No gaps. I don't want any of my animals escaping back behind the background, especially the venomous ones. I like to know where they are pretty much at all times.
Yeah. And what are they? What sort of venomous stuff you got here?
Well, I've got African bush vipers. There's one right here. This girl is gorgeous. She's staying still as usual, thinking that we can't see her, but she's right here. She's a bit of a firecracker once you stir her up.
Well, I would be too if you're poking a stick at me, but anyway,
yeah, well,
steel rod.
She's a bit used to using tools. We don't do anything by hand.
So you haven't been bitten before?
No. My intention is to never be bit.
Okay.
I actually have been keeping snakes and reptiles since I was about 12 years old when I first came to the States. I was born in England, and we don't have very many reptiles in England, so when I came here as a 12-year-old boy, I became enamored with the lizards and snakes right away.
Okay.
And now it's progressed to this.
Wow, so just give us a bit of a rundown on what sort of other snakes you got here.
Okay. Down here are what we call Sri Lankan pit vipers. They're really, really, really beautiful snakes. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful venomous snakes to look at.
He talks about snakes like I talk about rocks. He's pretty crazy.
She's hiding up here in the tree, and her mate, the male, is up here on this side.
That would have bit me, because I wasn't watching where that one was.
Yep, he's hiding up there in the corner.
Yep. Okay.
And then in this tank, they actually almost all of my venomous snakes are actually nocturnal animals. So during the day, they pretty much just hide up in the trees. I'm gonna have a bit of trouble with that lock. They're actually a lot more active at nighttime.
So what's this one?
These are eyelash vipers from Costa Rica. South American animal.
In the corner there.
There's one right here in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
They're
saying,
jittery, aren't
leave
they?
me
Like
alone.
they move like really quick little movements.
He's saying, leave me alone. I was sleeping.
Right.
And the females are hiding.
Down the bottom, right
Yeah,
down the
there's
bottom
one
back
right
corner.
down
That's
here.
pretty.
That's another male.
I tell you what, folks, we're gonna create this movable reptile exhibit to drive around in, because I'm that excited with the way he's displayed all of our product and what animals he's got. So look out, you're going to see an exhibit that comes around the country one day. Look at this one. This is what
These
do
are
we got here?
copperheads. These are southern copperheads.
Okay, not like the Australian copperheads.
No, they're different, and these guys are actually indigenous to
Look.
Texas. I actually have these exact same animals living in our back garden. There's a male and female in here,
Colourful.
and they are also breeding, and they should have babies probably in about 3 months. About 3 months.
So you got a bit of everything. You got a real rocks in the bottom there. You got cork. You got universal rock, crystal wall. You've got a log. I know, probably from Petco, PetSmart.
Yep, that's a PetSmart log. It sure is.
It looks good. Looks good. Natural earth material on the bottom. Love it.
Yep. Yeah.
And you were saying the other day to me that one of the reasons that your snakes do so well is because they can shed themselves really well on the rough surfaces.
Correct.
More so than having a Tupperware container that's all smooth.
That's right. I mean, the universal rock backgrounds give them that texture right there in their enclosure. There are some breeders that believe in just keeping their snakes in a sterile condition. In fact, lots of breeders breed snakes in sweater boxes, believe it or not, which is a pretty miserable environment for a snake, in my opinion.
Yep.
A sweater box with a piece of newspaper on the bottom and a water bowl.
Yep.
This is a dodgy lock. That's the only one that's
Dodgy, dodgy lock. That's
dodgy lock on the venomous tank.
An English and Australian term, but as far as Americans don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Crap.
Dodgy lock.
Useless. Needs fixing. All that stuff.
Replace it is what it means.
Okay.
Okay, we got it. Now,
Well, let's move. Yeah, go on.
let me show them these. These are bearded dragons.
Oh, they're from home. I used to catch those growing up. They were never this happy when
These
you
guys are
pick
nice
them
and
up.
happy. In fact, they meet you at the door.
Look at
Meet
that.
you at the door wanting to eat, saying, "Where's my dinner?" You've already had some salad.
Our ones were very angry when we'd catch them in the bush.
These are actually they're my daughters, so she takes them to school with her.
Yep.
She watches telly with them sometimes. Come on up there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's pretty neat. I've got different wattage bulbs in different tanks.
And night ones as well.
night ones as well. And it's thermostatically controlled. These are just little miniature thermostats.
Right, you have this set up sensationally.
I should show you the back, the garage side, because you haven't seen the back. All you're seeing is the front side.
That's where all the hard work's done.
Yep.
Setting it up.
Now these guys are quite unusual. These are venomous snakes from Asia.
Okay.
They're actually called red speckled palm vipers. And I believe that she's actually going to have babies too. You can see the scale separation on her back. They have been linked up pretty much since they've been in that tank every week or so. And I think she'll probably be having babies in about 4 or 5 months.
Okay, do they get much bigger than that?
No, she is adult size. They're both about adult size.
Right. Well, let's go and have a look at some of your other bigger enclosures.
Okay.
Okay, Dave, well, there's another one of your enclosures, a bit bigger than the last ones we just looked at, and I'm pretty excited here. So, firstly, what lizard we got here?
This is a Savannah monitor.
Okay.
From Africa. He was purchased as a $25 baby lizard about 6 inches long.
Okay, how old? How long ago?
He's about 1.5 years old now.
Ooh, he's big already.
Yep, he has a healthy appetite. He eats small to medium-sized rats 2 times a week.
Okay.
And he's now been residing in this enclosure for about 3 months. I have to keep making the enclosures bigger and bigger and bigger for him as he grows.
Well, I'm happy with that because you've got to keep buying more stuff from me. So that's good for me. But I want to talk about that for a minute. He's got really big claws, and this is a bit of a sales pitch here, but Dave comes around and sort of grabs bits and pieces of what we've got or new pieces I'm trying and tests them out for me. So what he's got here is some foam. This is a foam background here, which you can't bend those foam backgrounds. They're rigid. This rock at the front is also a foam one. Look exactly the same as our flexible material, but you can't bend them. And a lot of people have asked me over the last year and a half, because that's how long I've been doing this, do lizards with their big claws scratch through these rocks? Well, no, they don't.
Yeah, the answer is no, they don't.
So,
because before this animal was in this enclosure, I had a roughneck monitor that was even bigger than this animal, whose claws were literally like razors.
Okay.
And I had to put leather gloves on and long sleeve clothing on every time I handled him.
Yep.
His claws were like razors, and his favorite thing to do was to crawl all over the walls on a daily basis.
Well, the back one is our flexible material.
The back one is the flexible material, the side one is the foam.
It holds up well, and I love how you've done this, which would have looked very, very ugly when you have the three-dimensional side. I think he wants to eat my hands.
Yeah, he thinks you got food for him.
Is you've just painted that, so that looks pretty good. Look at this. This is pretty crazy.
He thinks you got food. He'll stand up. I mean, you can put his finger up here and he'll stand on his tail thinking that he's going to get some food. He's something else.
Wow. Well, once again, this looks great. Again, you've got all the lights, you've got misters, you've got waters, you've got everything. It's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, I've actually got water lines that run underneath the house because it's a pier and beam house.
Wow.
Like the reservoir, the water system that serves that, built in the wall, there's a line that runs from that reservoir underneath the house that also services this one.
Very impressive. The only thing I don't like is your water bowl.
Yeah.
So Universal Rocks obviously is not doing a good enough job with water bowls, and we will create some better ones. Let's go to your next ones.
Let's go to the emeralds.
So here we are in Dave's lounge room, and we've got another four big enclosures here. And let us know what we got in here, buddy.
This is my emerald tree boa tanks. There's actually 9 animals here in these enclosures, and actually this tank in the middle, you're looking at the first piece of Universal Rock background that I ever purchased 6 years ago.
Okay.
So that piece of background has now been in service for 6 years.
And you've got a waterfall running over that, I can see.
It has pumps mounted behind it because it's hollow. It enables me to put all the pumps, all the filters, everything is installed behind that background and hidden, so you can't even see it.
Yep.
And the water creates a natural waterfall with water flowing down the back of the background.
Once again, this looks fantastic. This was a little bit foggy, but some of these other ones that aren't so foggy, so we'll do some close-up pictures in a minute or two to show you those, but they look like very healthy specimens. Had some friends one friend in particular in Australia who had big snakes like these that he got from Northern Territory, and well, I shouldn't say that actually where he got them from.
Yeah, you might get
but
in
anyway,
trouble.
so yeah, this looks really cool.
Yeah, and the goal is to try and recreate the natural environment, you know, and the backgrounds, the hollow backgrounds, give me that ability. These animals thrive in high humidity,
Right.
so creating a high humidity environment for them is quite difficult unless you actually have water in the actual tank.
Well, Benny, do some close-ups here. I love this one here with, once again, another waterfall going and plenty of spots for the animals. So have a look at that. So, Dave, what have you done here with the filtration? Because all down the bottom you've got the pebbles. What's going on here?
Well, actually, the substrate in these tanks actually creates the filter. The rocks actually filter the water. The water comes down the background and actually flows through the rocks and then returns to the back of the background to the pumps and gets pumped back up the back of the background. It creates a natural filter.
Yep.
And the water, you can see the water stays very, very clean. I actually don't do water I change water once every 6 months.
No.
I just add clean water to it as it evaporates, which is about once every 2 weeks we have to add water to the tanks.
Well, they look great again. And who would think this is in his lounge room and amongst beautiful furniture. What's this?
This is a jungle jag carpet python. He's an arboreal constrictor, and that's why he's in a tall vertical tank. They love to spend their times up in the tree canopy, and the big limb that you see in here is Universal Rock's product, along with the background, and the big rock you see in the foreground of the tank, that's also a hide. Typically he'll go off into that hide where it's nice and humid when he needs to shed. It was very easy to make it into a hide. It's actually a foam rock. I just cut a small opening in it, and he found it and started using it.
Yep. And one of the things with that, for anyone else who buys them to cut holes in them, as the lizard or the snake or whatever it grows, you can just easily get a knife to it and cut another hole, cut it bigger if you need to. So it's pretty easy to work with.
Yeah, I love the way this tank came out. It's actually one of my more favorite tanks. I really do like it.
So what do we got here, Dave? What are these snakes?
These are albino prairie rattlesnakes. It's a pair. This is the female. This is the male. They're very happy in here. He's probably going to go clear off into his cave.
And you've created the whole back of the background there as a cave as well. Oh, listen to it. Listen to it rattle away. Yeah.
Yep. The whole background actually is a natural cave. In nature, they actually seek out caves to breed and hide in and hibernate in.
Yep.
So the background gave me the ability to do that.
And these mate, have you had babies from these before?
I haven't had babies from them yet. They're only just now breeding age, but they have been breeding like crazy. And I actually suspect that the female is gravid and is actually growing babies right now as we speak. So,
well, let's go to some of your other enclosures because you have a lot of stuff to look at.
on girly. Out you come. You'll probably come out of this hole over here. Come on.
There she is.
Shit. Right out of your stump, your universal rock stump. Yeah, that's the girl. And the boy's in here.
Is that
too.
them making that noise?
Yeah.
Not happy.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
here
the boy.
comes.
He comes out the other way.
Yeah.
I love these guys because they make S's across the sand. That's why I got them. Because they make that S shape when they go sideways. Watch them go.
Well, we don't have any of these in Australia, Dave. This sounds fantastic. So
Yeah.
they don't really give us the warning in Australia. They just whack you.
Right. Like the brown snakes and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yep.
More like a cobra, a brown snake is. So, yeah, she's going to have more babies. She had 7 babies right here in the tank. And I've got pictures of all that too.
Well, once again, what was this? This was a jewellery bit of furniture, wasn't it?
Yeah, jewelry display case.
Yeah, right.
Yep. $40 off Craigslist. The guy literally was looking at it like it was a piece of rubbish in his house. Said, take it away. Had all wires hanging out of it, and it was a mess, but it still came together nice, didn't it?
Beautiful. Okay, let's move to another one. Okay, so here we are again, Dave. We're in your office at the moment. This is where you've got God knows how many enclosures, and this is your latest. What you got happening here, buddy?
Yeah, this is my latest build, and I really needed to build this series of enclosures in this office to house baby snakes and to separate my males and females that are breeding like crazy and need to be separated at times.
Yep.
So I needed some extra space. I built this up over the period of the last month. It's almost ready for me to start putting animals into it.
Okay.
And all it really lacks is just some material on the ground. You can see on some of the tanks there's nothing in the ground yet. But other than that, they're pretty much all decorated. And like, as before my other tanks, everything is fake. Everything in the enclosure is fake. The backgrounds work great in here. These will be for desert dwelling species, probably rattlesnakes. And then these will be for the more tropical arboreal vipers.
So I love you've used some of my new ledges there for some great little ledges. This is a detailed rock that I got in Arkansas not long ago, and I've turned it into many different bits and pieces. So I think the more detailed the rocks are, the better looking it is, and you're using those fantastic.
Yes, there's one in there, and there's actually one in here on this wall also.
Yep. And that's with the photo on the background, still works okay?
Yep. It actually almost blends in.
Yeah.
It's the same, similar type of rock formation.
Layered effect.
Yeah.
And you've drilled holes in the backgrounds and stuck the plants in, so that's pretty easy fix to...
Yep, absolutely. I can just pull them out when I need to, just take a drill bit and just drill a hole. It's very simple. Very simple.
Well, I love seeing this because you're doing stuff with a product that I haven't done in some cases, and it looks beautiful. So good job, mate, once again.
Thank you.
Okay, here we are in the corner of his office again with another, I don't know, 10, 15 enclosures here. So what's in these, Dave?
These are all juvenile arboreal vipers. They're basically animals that were bought as babies that I'm growing up with the intention of breeding them eventually. This is an eyelash viper in this tank. She's hiding up in the back corner.
Yep.
These animals spend most of their time up off the ground. These are speckled palm vipers. Very special animals. Very, very privileged to have a pair of those in my house.
Yep.
Hopefully they will breed for me.
Are you going to put them in a bigger enclosure than this, or is
They are going to go into a bigger enclosure. They're going to get moved into the wall build that we just showed.
Okay.
And in actuality, I probably will end up deleting these 3 tanks when these animals go into that wall.
Okay. What do you got over here? You got a little rattlesnake.
Yeah, over here is a pair of banded rock rattlesnakes. And you can see him hanging out there on the fake rock background from Universal Rocks, just like he would in his natural environment. They're from New Mexico. They live in the mountains in New Mexico and rocky areas in New Mexico. And that the Universal Rocks background there recreates their natural environment to a T.
Right.
They're very, very happy.
Are they going to get bigger than that?
They are going to get bigger than that. They will end up being about the same size as the Sidewinders. They're a small breed rattlesnake.
Right.
But yeah, very, 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 very nice animals. And also very, very, very toxic venom.
Okay.
Very dangerous venom.
Well, once again, these are cool, and he's used some of our bark at the back, which is not really on the internet too much, I think, but we do have big panels of tree bark of different sorts, so this has actually come to a great use in these smaller tanks, especially where the animals are used to living in trees, not around rocks, so look out for that if you've got snakes that need that sort of environment.
Yeah, and they really, really like the tree bark. It's very natural for them.
Well, I think, I suppose another sales pitch with you don't seem to use the cork as a background, because that's sold a lot.
Yeah, I don't really like the cork. A lot of my tanks have mist heads, as you've probably seen in the pictures, and they're high humidity tanks, and the cork backgrounds absorb moisture, and then you get issues with mold and smell, and I don't really want to smell my reptiles particularly, you know.
Right.
It's really not the reptiles that you're smelling when you have a cork background. It's more the moldy, rotten cork that's getting wet in the bottom that absorbs all that moisture.
Right.
And the other thing I'll say is I've never had to throw away a Universal Rocks background.
Yep.
You know, when I used to use cork and used to use bark, it would be usable for about a year, take it out, throw it away, and go and buy another piece.
Okay.
You know, this stuff I've used and reused. I've taken it from one tank, I moved it to another tank. It's literally, I remove it from the tank and just wash it.
Yep.
You know, and it's reusable again.
Well, that's good. Let's finish off with your chameleon exhibit. Well, Dave, you got some chameleons in here, different sorts. I actually was fortunate enough to have a few chameleons in Australia, which I probably wasn't meant to have, but I did have them for a while, and there's a lot of them over in America, and they're a cool animal. So tell us what sort of types you got here.
Okay, this in the big vertical tank, this is called a Mellors chameleon. I've used the Universal Rocks background. It's actually a palm tree background that was intended. I think you were going to make palm trees out of them.
Yeah, that's new. So if you do want it, you do see this on an internet, just call us up and we'll find your piece. But it's not on the internet.
Yeah, and I put that in the back of the background because these animals again are they like high humidity, and they have lots of water is needed in their tanks, and the background enables that screen tank to be just closed off to the wall, so I don't damage the wall in my home.
Yeah.
Typically, chameleons are kept in screen enclosures because they like a lot of ventilation. They can actually have problems with respiratory infections. And I've used the palm tree one in here and a different tree background in this environment. And they work very well. The chameleons are very happy.
Well, they look healthy. They look fantastic, actually. And
super happy animals.
And you got some more on the table. Not much room for talking here with that one.
Yeah, those are babies that were born here this year. Growing up, the big female here is going to actually be the next mother. She's going to have babies next year.
Okay.
We'll breed her next year.
Yep.
Pretty cool. See? Have to make payments on him. Yeah, this one, he's cooperating. He's all pretty cool. Yeah, that's my pool and back garden. That's my tree that I was going to build a great big tree house in and put snake tanks in it. I was going to build a giant circular tree house.
Yeah. We can use it.
Come on, guys, rattle for me. Underneath, I wish I could lift it up enough so you could see it. But it's completely hollow underneath there. See that?
Yeah.
It's got PVC pipes, and that way all my mist heads and all my sprayers can run, and all the water just comes down to the bottom and flows out underneath the house. So there is a wet spot underneath my house right here that I'm sure the animals are probably taking advantage of. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why chameleons typically are smelly animals. They shit a lot. I mean, look at the size of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if everything goes out under the house, then it doesn't smell in here.
Yep. Okay.